What's good, everybody? June Frey here alongside my bro.
Europe.
And y'all know the vibes. Welcome to another episode of LTAI. And this is episode 28. How you doing today, bro? How you feeling?
I'm cooling, man. Cooling like a polar bear.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. Now, we really haven't had any special guests in over like a season or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, returning back, is the boy Dill. Dylan's in the building. Yeah.
Goody.
What's good, bro? How you feeling?
I'm great. So
yeah, I'm glad for you to be back here for sure. So, we definitely got to get some more guests.
Yeah, we do. We do. If you want to
Yeah,
apply, just click that. I'm just playing. This ain't Indeed, baby.
All right, so it's been a minute. We
Yes.
haven't really put out a new episode in over a month now. So, but I'm pretty sure there's always so much shit going on with the internet and everything. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about this Travis Scott situation, man. This shit is wild.
imagine seeing Drake come to fucking pound. Oh my, yo. Like, there's so many things that happened at that one night, and it blows my mind how good of a concert I could tell it was, but how ridiculous the tragic events that occurred.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's insane that fucking 8 died.
So it's confirmed that it's 8 people dead and 300 injured.
Somewhere
300
around
plus
there.
injured.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yo, that 14-year-old, bro. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
Can you imagine hearing your kid isn't coming back because
My real question is, like, what was your kid doing there? Like, I know niggas had school tomorrow. Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm seeing this, like, as parents, they're just like, oh, yeah, my kid was 10 years old in the crowd. These niggas stomp niggas out for a living, bro. That is their job.
To be fair, bro,
Dude, but you're in Texas. Like, you don't know that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
but
Mom and dad ain't paying attention to little Bobby listening to Travis Scott sicko mode for the 20th time.
But the thing is, like, they're just like, oh, yeah, my kid was there. And I'm looking at the age groups for the kids, and I'm thinking, like, oh, these kids are like 20, 21. We got, like, 14, 10 years old.
It's the young
Dude
kids.
looked like he didn't even hit puberty yet.
But if you noticed, as time continues to change, a lot of things that are happening with kids who are of a younger age. It was a lot normal for us. Like, if we were going to a concert, we were probably maybe late teens, early 20s, whatever. I know I attended my first concert back in 2014 for Joey Badass. I would think I was in my early 20s, but I couldn't imagine like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, at a concert like that. But then again, it's no surprise, like, because who do you think Travis Scott is gravitating towards?
But like
the
you
young
got kids. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know people have seen YouTube videos of this man's concerts.
Yeah.
Like, these people literally drop kick niggas, like, jumping off the stage. Like,
niggas mosh pits.
But yo, that's the thing, right? Is the fact that Travis Scott's concert, like, he entices that type of energy to the stage or to the festival.
Yep.
And that's the part where it's like, there has to be some accountability on Travis's end.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Oh yeah,
I agree. It's like when you enable shit like that, when you enable such behavior, then you have to hold yourself accountable. I can't sit here and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be here and be all surprised that he's getting sued, whatever. We gotta refund tickets,
But they sued Drake too.
What is
okay? So
Yeah.
did
I didn't know that.
did they sue all the other headliners? Because I know he
No.
had a lot of headliners for that.
No.
What did they sue Drake
They
for?
sued Drake because after Drake came out is when the tragedies and stuff started.
But Drake had nothing to
taking
do with
form.
that.
I know Drake came out and just chilling.
bro, because there was already a mayhem happening. It was just, I can imagine it got heightened once he stepped out on the stage.
Yeah.
Because again, bro, imagine seeing that. Like, you have to bump to that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'll tell you, I know one thing for sure though. I will never partake in any general admission concerts ever again. If there's no assigned seats or nothing, I want no part of that shit. I want no part of that shit.
Just for Travis
Bro.
Scott, bro.
I want no
If this
part
is
of that.
not indoors in a stadium,
And even on top of that, like, we don't even know how people died. I've heard there were some injections going on. I heard certain people died of cardiac arrest. I heard it was because people were smothered.
Well, that was the other weird thing too. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of people that were passing out. There's something that they've been talking about where like some shot or with poison was going on around.
that's crazy.
Then on top of that, conspiracy theorists are having a blast with this one.
Yep.
Because
having
of the
a field
whole
day.
because of the whole Illuminati thing with him. See you on the other side.
Yeah, that shit
Yeah.
was wild. He was wild.
That's
bro.
crazy.
And then he was wearing the shirt, bro, that had like angels turning
Oh,
to
the angels
demons.
turning to
I
demons.
was like, God damn,
Yeah,
like,
that's
you're not helping your case. Like, and just more and more shit just kept coming. Like
Right.
it was like you got a portal that says "see you to the other side." His propaganda
his entrance
that he had on Instagram was mad sus, bro.
The
Yeah.
entrance is
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Yo, conspiracy theorists are having a field day with this shit.
Yeah,
Like they're like,
bro.
no, it was a human sacrifice.
It was,
we know
it
it.
was a blood
They're like,
sacrifice.
stay woke, guys. Repent.
let me chill. Let me chill.
He's
Insane.
But okay, let me ask y'all. Let me.
You remember that episode from Great Adventures of Billy and Mandy where Billy was just like, destroy us all?
Yeah. Yo.
Yup, that's the internet right now about this shit.
Oh, I remember that shit like it was yesterday. Destroy us all! Destroy us all!
Bruh.
Rico, you gotta pull up a clip of that
He
for the
was
video
going
version.
He
Please.
was going in, and I'm like, bro, this is like it could only get worse from here. And what
Yeah.
made it worse was I just wish he never apologized.
I was gonna say that
Because,
did
bro,
y'all,
Apology video.
did you guys buy the apology?
No,
Okay,
bro.
he's like,
What was this?
He's like, listen,
What was this?
you know, we're about to get some help real quick, you
He
know.
deserves every meme
I know we're going through a lot of shit right now, but
He deserves every single one of them, bro. He looked like he popped a molly, then recorded that
The
video.
amount of memes that came from that. I saw TikTok videos where people were doing it from a POV, and they put the little dreads over the phone.
Yo,
I was crying, bro.
Yo,
Rico, you the only one who saw that. I almost fell on my seat. Listen,
I was crying.
I didn't
bro.
buy it.
I didn't buy that.
In no way. And then the Kardashians just kept adding fuel to the fire. Like there's just
Kylie?
like they copied and pasted each and every like PR like on Instagram. It's like
Why?
we don't give a fuck what you have to say.
Yeah.
Like
what the fuck?
first of all, you got your cheeks clapped by Ray J. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything you have to say personally.
Like
Personally.
I don't know. I was waiting for a teardrop or something, but I'm like, nah, this ain't it, bro.
The only person
No,
that was
especially
valid.
because, like, even because Kylie was out there too, right? And they were the first
Yeah.
mofos escorted out of that.
You can see
situation.
them.
Like, that's ridiculous,
that means
bro.
something.
She said we didn't
must
see
have
anything,
That-
but then they showed a video
That's
of her
why,
getting
like,
escorted.
That's the other part too. Is like, there's no way Travis can say he didn't know what happened or something wasn't going on, bro.
Exactly.
Because you literally can see the ambulance that's trying to go out there to help save lives.
right.
You literally
That's
see
right.
people screaming. There was a girl that was trying to get the cameraman to
Yeah.
stop the show. People were chanting that shit. There's literally video of him saying like, "Who's telling me to stop? Who's telling me to stop?" Like, come on, bro.
Even his boys like came up and they were like, "Hey, maybe we should just jet out of here." He's like, "I don't want to hear none of that."
Bro,
As
that's
a-
what I'm saying. It's like, bro, come on. Like,
As-
that's why accountability's gotta be
Right.
taken.
Yeah.
bro. Like,
As an artist, especially when you are expecting people to to come see you at your show so you can make money, right? It's also your job as the artist to partake in, like, if you see somebody passing out, stop the show. Just stop it. All it takes is 2 seconds. Stop the show. You will definitely resume. All right. Nobody's losing money.
Right.
It only takes 2 seconds to stop what you're doing just to save somebody's life. Period.
The only problem that I had, there was one clip in particular that still sticks with me. After this concert, he was on the little pedestal and some kid was like fucking dying, and he's just melodicizing, just staring at him. And I'm like, that
Yes.
was creepy.
yes,
That was
exactly,
creepy.
Because
But he's just like, yeah.
I heard
And
that
I was
voice.
like-
I was like,
I was clutching my pearls. I was like, damn, nigga, am I being initiated? Like, this shit was weird. It was weird.
It
Dude
was.
is fucking passed out.
Yeah.
Niggas
Yeah.
carrying him, and he's just
Yeah.
sitting there staring at dude like,
that's a little weird, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
Can you
I'm like,
imagine?
how did you
and
not know
and you
niggas
hear
was
that
dying?
voice, you hear his voice crooning, and then you see somebody's body being. Oh no!
You see what I'm saying?
Oh no!
And it didn't help that they were blaming the EMTs and everybody else that was
The
trying to
EMTs
help.
were busting their asses. There were even some
But
people
there
who,
were a lot
who
of people
reported that
blaming
on TikTok. I know there was one in particular. He didn't want to disclose any information, and I get that. You know, there were people literally risking their lives to help, and there were. I want to say it was very short staffed. I think it was
Yeah,
what, only
extremely.
2-3 EMT members.
Extremely.
see, that's the other thing too. Is
for a
like, it's-
50,000 people show.
right, and literally the Houston Police Department too even stated
Mhm.
talking to Travis Scott about their concerns of the safety of the crowd and the audience, bro. Like, there's too many things that could have
Yep.
prevented it or things that could have been done better.
Yeah.
And there was too
I
many
agree.
mistakes.
I think for one, maybe he should have taken the venue to, you know, elsewhere, where, you know, at a much more spacious venue. You know, is it the same location where he's held that shit over the years?
No, I think it
I don't
changes.
know.
It varies
Right.
because he had multiple Astroworld like tour dates set up.
But he should know as the artist that, you know, he's gonna be receiving, you know, more of maybe like an increased number of fans. You know, more people are gonna be attending your shit. It's not gonna be the same number, you know. But I don't know. That's just me.
I just think for the amount of people that he had at the show, it was just this like large, vast group of just multiple people, just 50,000. I think they said even more than 50,000, but the general standpoint was 50,000.
Even if you don't anticipate how many people are showing up, right? Because
Mhm.
that could happen.
Mhm.
The fact is, you should be at least alert or aware of situations occurring in the fucking stage in front of you.
Mhm.
Like, you have so many faces in front of you. I get it. It is a little bit hard. But it's not like it was one particular corner. It was blocks over here, blocks over there. This happening, this. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to eventually start seeing, hey, there's a lot of things going on. And not everyone... Like, I can see the gaps of no hands, no phones, no heads anymore,
Yeah.
you know? Like...
But from his angle, he can definitely see the crowd.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like you can, when you overlook and you have the angle that he has, he even had a higher point. You can see these people. So it's not like if fucking, Dave Grohl could see people in the middle of a black concert, like a dark ass concert, and see people passing out or
He
being
can do this thing.
like, you can see them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that story of like, oh, he didn't know like 8 people
that's
or whatever.
bullshit.
There was
And
over more
also,
than 300.
I was gonna say that I think maybe that whole facility may have, that capacity may have been maximized. You know,
It was way max.
it was completely maximized, because even from what I've looked into from another YouTuber, was that he himself, I guess he knew, you know, the show was at a capacity, but he was still trying to finesse his way on selling more tickets and bringing more.
That's
you know,
about the
inviting more
dumbest
people
shit
over.
ever.
Yeah, it's dumb as hell. You know, I mean, take that shit to the Madison Square Garden or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you can sell that many, you know. But I don't know. There was a lot of shit going down.
Like
that
from the
night.
start
So
to
much
the
going
end.
on.
It was like people bum rush like the whole thing, and you see
Yeah.
like cops
Yeah.
tripping people and shit because they're running through the gate. And then you see the show, it's going crazy, and then the aftermath of it, which
Yeah.
was just fucking Travis Scott going to Dave and Buster's, which I don't believe for shit. Why would Drake hold a Dave and Buster's party? You know what I'm saying? I can think of 20 different places you can go.
In Houston. of
In
all places,
Houston.
too. Yeah.
Right.
Like, what the hell? Dave and Buster's? Like, and second of all, like I told you earlier, Dave and Buster's has hella TVs. So I'm sure your face is plastered on at least one of them motherfuckers. So you could see
Yeah.
that, 8 people died
Yeah.
and 3 are in critical condition. It was 11, but
Yeah.
3 are in critical condition. And then the rest is everybody's, you know, injured from bodily harm,
Mhm.
stampedes, all this other shit.
But I want to say I want to say
You know what? I would have chosen that over fucking Dave and Buster's.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you know, prayers go out to all the victims and all the family members for sure, because that shit's completely unbelievable, you know. So yeah, but yeah, moving on to the next topic, we're gonna talk about Kanye West. He was out here talking so much smack on Drink Champs, which features Nori and I know a few other people as well. I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't get a chance to watch that whole segment. I'm actually gonna watch the whole thing when I get a chance later tonight. Did you watch the whole thing, Chris?
I watched like an hour after. It was like on like in the background, you know, when you're like doing shit.
Yeah.
But I stayed for the most prominent moments of that,
Mhm.
you know, that entire thing. And one of the bigger topics was Big Sean. You
Yeah.
know, he talked about that Big Sean was not between him and I think him and Pusha T, who was the better signing. And
Right.
he said, well, originally Nori thought it was Big Sean
That
because
whole scene was actually hilarious.
hilarious.
I don't know if it was just he just wasn't listening to Kanye or what the deal was, but he literally like back to back, he just wasn't catching
He
what
didn't
Yeah.
catch
Kanye
on
was
to it.
saying.
Yeah.
When he was like, no, the worst, I lost it.
Yeah, because
It's-
that's a pretty big take, because like to say that he's the worst person you signed when
wasn't.
he put out some pretty good albums.
He wasn't. There were even some artists who barely even made a year on that label on Good Music.
Like
you know?
Designer. Who can forget designer?
You know, but
That nigga was a feature on a featured album.
yeah. If we could be honest,
Like, damn.
if we could be honest, absolutely. But I want to say that I completely disagree with Kanye. I think Kanye was being completely bitter and childish because of the fact that Big Sean decided to grow and flourish. I mean, he spent his numbers of years on good music. He's been with good music since what? Since the release of his third mixtape?
Since Click.
Yeah, his third mixtape on Finally Famous 3.
Yeah.
That was what? Late 2000s. He's been with good music for a very long time. And I want to say that he has helped carry that label. You know, me personally, I'm not that big a fan of Big Sean. I can actually acknowledge and appreciate him, you know, for actually being in this space of the hip hop community. But at the same time, it's like, you know, why would Kanye say some shit like that? Big Sean was one of the best things that's ever happened to him and the label, if we can be honest.
It's because in the interview he was saying that he did basically endorse his presidential campaign. So that's why he was being bitter.
It was him and John Legend that he got on as far as that situation. I was like, okay, so because you guys have different views is the reason why you're acting like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I would take a bag of Oreos and a pack of smokes over Kanye West running for president.
Speaking of smokes, you saw Kanye smoking a joint, man?
I saw
nigga
that.
was stressed, bro.
I
ain't never seen Kanye smoke no joints or no weed at all.
I think the only time I ever seen him smoke was during the My Dark Twisted Fantasy tour.
But maybe for acting.
But it was for the you know, for the bit. But
that nigga looked stressed, bro. Like he was, and even on top of that, where he was denying
he was divorcing a Kardashian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's stressful shit.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. He's talking about he wants to get back with him, and I'm like. I
don't think. I think they're playing games with each other. Personally,
probably.
I think she knows how to get under his skin, and that
she's a Kardashian.
But his only way to like really lash out at her is do a PR stunt like this interview. Like,
he's making himself look stupid.
He never does interviews, by the way, and that's why it was surprising to me to see this because it was like Kanye times 2. Like, you really don't want to see him talk.
I try not to.
Well, you know what though, because he did an interview with Joe Rogan during his whole presidential thing, but it gives you insight when you hear him talk for hours on end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna say that.
He definitely he speaks his mind, and his mind is all over the place.
That's what he needs.
Exactly.
That's what he needs.
And
a
you
podcast.
have to listen from beginning to end of his conversation. You can't clip him.
I know.
Like, because then of course it's gonna sound ridiculous.
But it just comes off, the way it comes off is like hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
But then like he doesn't try to be. I feel like he doesn't really try to be, but he's really he's like a Gemini. He's a true Gemini. Like he just says whatever the fuck is on his mind and doesn't give a damn, you know, how the person feels. But personally to me, I think it's not surprising that people would think that Kanye would say something so controversial. But the fucked up part was that he was with Big Sean
the day before.
Yeah, after the fact, like before that even aired, he was like, I was with you after this and you didn't say shit to me. Like we were chilling, we were, you know, but maybe that's how he felt, prior to the thing, and then maybe it got all patched up afterwards or whatever. But in nice Gemini fashion, you know, you say one thing in front of a camera and you just turn into a nutshell at the end of the day when you pull up. So I think it's crazy that a lot of people are taking what he's saying seriously, because I personally don't think he's coherent at the moment. Yeah, like it's Kanye. I don't think he's coherent at the moment, like when he's saying shit like this. But it's just funny to see how he thinks.
He gives everybody the unfiltered version on impulse. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
No, exactly.
There's never any filtered version of Kanye until after the fact, after the damage has been done. I know you mentioned something about Soulja Boy not making it on the Donda album, and can I be honest with you? I was actually watching a video. That one dude on YouTube, I think he's annoying as hell. It was his name, Adam Ross, whatever.
Aiden Ross? You don't fuck with Aiden?
He's so annoying.
What?
Wait, that's the white dude.
That's the white dude who be bringing rappers like DDG, Blueface, all them people.
He could be a little.
He's annoying.
Come on.
And sus, bro.
Because I'm not entertained. Like that's the thing.
He's annoying. He's annoying. But he had Soulja Boy on there. I wanted to smack him so bad. I want to smack Aiden so bad. He's talking about, yo, you had the hottest verse on there. I'm like, shut your bitch ass up. No way in hell. No way in hell. But so the song Remote Control by Kanye, Soulja Boy was left off of that verse. He kept Young Thug's verse on there. I felt like he and Young Thug were both intertwined together. When I heard Soulja Boy's verse, that shit was completely irrelevant.
He said, I'm up in this gat. As soon as I heard that, I was
This is
like, yeah,
called
it's raps.
it's called remote control, meaning God is in
Raps.
control. It's a metaphoric term meaning God is in control. How you gonna mix God and killing niggas in the same sentence? I don't understand.
I mean, you could send them to God. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You can send them to God. That's the connection right there. But
Oh, that's funny.
to have 5 Yo Foreign not say anything wild on an album, you have to be really influential to that person. I think Soulja Boy just missed the memo. But even then, when he was talking about it on
he
stream,
missed the assignment.
he definitely got an F. But
Minus.
but when he really like came out and he replayed the song on stream, I was like, maybe I didn't hear the song, the correct way the first time. Let me hear what he's got to say. So he was playing the song, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, in this time, I would choose to be deaf because it sounded so bad the second time. I was like, I can understand what you're saying now, but I understand why he didn't put it. I would rather hear a plastic bag rolling through the wind.
Oh no.
Like, I'd rather put that on the album
Not
on
rustling,
repeat.
Not rustling
And loop
plastic.
it. I'm telling you.
That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear that shit.
Hey,
So I'll put the static up.
Now play a giraffe barking.
don't give Kendrick no ideas, bro. Don't give Kendrick Lamar no
He's in
ideas.
his experimental phase, so you already know you're gonna hear all kinds of shit on there.
I want the sound of a metal sheet in the middle of the aisle.
Alright, now 808's on that bitch.
Make sure my alex are in Spanish and try to.
Oh my god, bro!
Make sure you got all the African.
Yeah, baby.
That man's gonna
All from the 1994 version of Lion King.
6 different tempos of just.
And guess what? There's gonna be somebody who listens to it and be like,
bro.
"Yo, I felt this. I felt this, bro. Y'all need to, y'all sleep.
He's
Y'all
a Pimple Butterfly vibes for real, for real.
No. We ain't disrespecting.
You are asleep, my brother. It's
With
the
the
wind of
Kente
our
hat.
ancestors.
With the Kente hat on.
Nah, bro, I can't.
We not in.
I can't,
Oh
my
my God, don't
even.
even
She's
get started.
canceled, bro.
Oh,
I don't know
Lord.
what the fuck she was doing.
What was
She was trying to channel her slave from like
What the fuck
from
was
her
she
parents'
on?
time.
What the fuck was she on doing some shit
She
like
thought
that?
doing that was gonna be a safety net.
Sure.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Cocaine for sure.
Okay,
That's a
but
hell
she
of a
went on
job.
Amazon and bought everybody a matching set.
Yeah, with the
So before the fucking press, here, put this on. I swear, when I saw a motherfucker who never even touched fucking jollof rice, even cooked chicken in their life, and they were wearing that shit in the back, I was about to cry laughing, bro. I was like, what is she doing? Bro,
Oh.
I just can't, bro. That's the time I really want to forget, but it's on Google Images, so...
It's everywhere I go.
Is it...
It's all I
Oh
see.
my God. I'm just glad she didn't.
Don't be like that, bro.
Oh, I'm just glad she didn't celebrate Juneteenth. I probably would have
Bro,
just.
if she did
I would
that,
have died.
I would literally send in a letter of complaint. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh,
Bro,
probably.
Swear.
Probably.
But getting back to Soulja Boy, man, I don't even know how the fuck we got there. But getting back to Soulja Boy, it's just the amount of anger that he had for that garbage ass verse. And he was just like,
He was so mad.
he was mad.
Bro.
He was mad.
pissed.
He was showing the text. He was just like, oh,
Yeah,
you said it was
yeah, yeah.
hard. You said it was hard. And then,
I gotta see this video.
bro, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
and
yo, it was so
it
funny.
was
I gotta
funny.
see it,
Because
yo.
he got heated.
He was
and then
mad.
started dissing Kanye
Yeah.
with his hair. and that shit was funny as fuck. Who cut your hair, yay?
And then he like paused, so he was just like staring at the screen.
Yeah, yo.
Oh,
bro.
He was mad,
It was the
bro.
funniest thing ever because I'm sitting there like, this man truly believes that he had a hot verse.
Nah,
Because
that
Kanye
one-
told you, and then he's saying like, but you don't get to pick and choose what's hot and what's not. It's his
Of course
fucking
you can.
album.
It's his album.
Yeah, you can.
That's
Word,
what
for
comes
real.
with being an artist. Like you, sometimes your shit might not make the cut. Like it's okay.
Nigga, you know how many artists he did a trial through?
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
like 100 artists and what? Only like 15 made the
Yeah.
cut? Like, we don't give a fuck about you, Soulja Boy. You are the future of the past, but you're the
Even that
future.
Cut, there was some ones that shouldn't have been cut, bro.
Facts.
That was
Fact.
like
Yeah.
Andre 3000 should have
Oh,
been
oh
on
my
that
God.
album.
Oh
that
my
was his
God.
personal choice, though. That was Andre 3000's
But that should
personal
have made
choice.
the album. I agree. That one
It was
song,
good.
It was amazing.
It was
but
really good.
My only issue was the fact that Kanye made it solely about his beef with Drake.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
if
was-
he would have just changed his verse, it would have been a great song.
Because 3 Stacks was focusing.
Great.
Yeah, because 3 Stacks was focusing on, you know, maybe like the double entendre he did with his mother, Donda, and shit like that. Kanye did that and then quickly gravitated to, you know, Drake. I'm like, okay, I guess. What a waste of a beautiful song.
Yeah, it was definitely a waste because that would probably would have been a collab of a lifetime.
I agree.
Of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And he chose to spend it on Dollar Store Drake. I think at this point,
Not Dollar Store Drake.
I think at this point, you know, for Soulja Boy to be as upset as he was, there's tons of more talent on that album than what he was talking about. He literally, the whole verse was just like what is it? Rolexes and Gats. That was literally the entire. That was the whole verse, and it was like to put that into an album.
Can we actually? And I was gonna say this too. Can we also appreciate the fact that, you know, the many artists who made it on there, which you wouldn't even think would even make it on there, right? They somehow, you know, understood the assignment. They were able to talk about maybe gravitate their own personal life with the actual aesthetic of the album, right?
I
So
mean,
you
when
had
you're-
like Fabio Foreign on there. You had Shensia on there. You had who else did we have on? We had Young Thug as well. Young Thug was able to, you know, mix God and maybe different metaphors and shit like that. I like to see that. I don't want to. If you're gonna talk about guns and shit like that, okay, that's cool. But if you can somehow be very clever and turn that into something else, which will actually pertain to what the album is about, cool. I'm cool with that. So, but I think Soulja Boy, he missed the assignment. That's what it was.
I mean, but if you're locked in a cage with Kanye for 24 hours, you don't have a fucking choice. You're gonna make music or you're gonna starve.
Right.
They both had the Dollar General.
No, I would have been okay with an all black album by Kanye, but that shit with Drake, you know, that emoji, I'm not fucking with that. Still.
He's
That shit,
36.
he still gets me upset.
Yo, he could have literally just not put the emojis there with the white album.
That's
and
it.
That
Oh
would
no!
great. That would have been.
That would have fueled fire.
That would've
That would have been
Fire.
disrespectful. That would have been disrespectful.
That'd be fire.
That would have been
But
disrespectful.
it would be good though.
It would have been great. It
It
would
would
have
be
been
good
great for the back and
though.
forth, bro.
Yes.
Like,
That
that's-
would have been
It
disrespectful.
would have been
I'm here-
phenomenal, bro.
I'm here for
What
it.
is 9 pregnant women doing on the picture?
Hey, I agree.
What is that?
You are snitching on yourself, sir. Like,
Not even real ones.
Jeez,
right.
Facts.
bro, come on.
Dude.
That would have
You had to
been.
go through all the emojis and make them different colors.
Yeah, word. You told
Damn,
someone.
that's tedious as fuck.
Mm.
But see, when somebody posted that on Twitter, I thought it was a joke.
Me too.
I was like,
did
okay,
not
somebody
take it
just made
serious.
this, and then he put it out, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Because I expected like a luxurious album cover.
Right.
He
Like an
put out
album art.
a track list cover, and it looked way better than the fucking.
The CLB
The
font.
actual album cover.
The CLB
correct.
font alone, the gold one. That
Yes.
shit was
That was
nice.
hard.
I was
Yes.
expecting that with flowers and some type of vineyard type shit. I don't know.
Yup.
But that? Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
That
God.
shit was garbage.
That shit was
Horrible.
wild. Yeah.
Horrible.
Do better.
Do better.
Yeah, for real, like dead ass, bro. Dead ass.
Like one job.
Yeah.
Literally one.
Exactly. But yeah, I still bumped Donda. You know, I still bumped Donda. A couple songs on there. Yeah, it's dope in my eyes. I feel like it's a great album as far as experience, but as a studio album, no.
I think
Yeah.
personally,
As experience, if you want experience and you want to get the feeling of it,
Yeah.
the aesthetic, sure, I'll give that bitch like an 8 out of 10. But as a studio album,
I
probably
think
less than
Kanye
that.
just did it based on how he would interpret it, and
Yeah.
to him, it's the
Nobody
best, and nobody else understands it. I'm sure there's a deeper meaning somewhere, but as of right now,
yeah.
it's just one ear out the other. Mm-mm.
I appreciate this gospel era.
Yeah.
On
Agreed.
Yeah.
it's something that I think is what is the root of Kanye, which is very soulful.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Like I enjoyed Jesus is King. Just
Yes.
even though it was some of it was
Yes.
very corny.
It was
Yeah.
a good
but
album.
but like it still was a really good
It was
album.
good.
Yeah.
The way he brought out Kenny G,
Yes.
had a whole sax shit going
Yes.
on, and it just brought that same energy to Donda too.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoyed it.
I
That's
feel
why-
like-
and it was very more what's the word? Like,
It was very authentic.
yes, that one.
Because
Very
when
more
you,
authentic
I feel
about
like the connection between The Life of Pablo, Jesus is King, and Donda kind of go together. Because when you look at the sound, like the soulful sound of, that's like the beginning stage.
You hear the choir.
You hear it.
Yeah,
And
that's,
like
that was the beginning
that
stage.
to me, honestly, The Life of Pablo is probably one of my favorite Kanye West albums, personally.
Yeah.
Aside from My Dark Twisted Fantasy, like that's one of my favorite ones because it's like he's showing his true self, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like Jesus is King was his roots, and then Donda was like all together. Everything was just put together.
Yeah.
So that's why Soulja Boy couldn't get in.
And that's why you can't talk about Gatsby killing niggas.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, it just doesn't work. And I think, Kanye still gave him a bout at the end and still said he's the future and he's top 5 or whatever of all time as far as influence. And it's true.
He is.
He did influence. Man had a, when niggas were still using beepers, he had the first ringtone.
Yeah.
Fully streamed, first person to make money off of ringtone.
Yeah.
So
thanks to the internet.
He did that shit, but
Of course.
just not for Don.
Yeah. So there was somebody who was trying to pit both Kanye and Drake together. I don't know. How do you guys feel about a versus between Ye and Drizzy?
He said he wouldn't do it. Even on the Drink Champs, he said he would rather do one with himself.
That sounds very Kanye.
Yeah.
That sounds very Kanye. Like, yeah, because I don't know. There were some people saying that, yeah, Drake will watch Kanye. I'm like, no. Drake is influenced by Kanye. Kanye has more catalogs on his head.
You know why people think Drake would wash Kanye? Because Drake makes commercial music.
Yeah.
That's why.
But have you noticed none of those songs off that CLB album was a single?
The first one.
I didn't hear any song make it on the radio. I didn't see.
Champagne Poetry.
Bro,
did.
you don't listen to the radio. Don't lie to me. There
I don't listen to radio.
Champagne Poetry, I heard it a good few times.
Also
on the radio?
The
Yeah.
Too Sexy, bro.
Yeah, Too Sexy is the
That's
only one.
Overplayed on
Yeah.
the radio, and it's been annoying.
That's been played in the clubs like crazy.
Two songs of LTAI.
Right, but and don't get me wrong, that album is very non-replayable in some aspects.
Yeah.
You know what I got really upset about, bro?
Mm.
When I saw Yeba's Heartbreak, I was so excited. And me personally, I don't think that song lived to how I would have,
Yeah.
how
Not
I
at
would
all.
have wanted, bro.
Not at all.
Like you could have done so much with Yeba. She has such a beautiful, powerful voice.
Yeah,
and
she
if you
does.
could have. And on top of that, like, why wasn't there like a verse for that too? It was so.
It was more like an interlude.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It
Yeba
was.
shouldn't be an interlude. She should be a song.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if we go all the way back to his So Far Gone shit and his Thank Me Later shit, So Far Gone, he had Bria's interlude with Omarion, and then he had Cece's interlude off of Thank Me Later. So I'm guessing Yeba's Heartbreak was meant to be an interlude. I agree with you. I wish Yeba had more lyrical length as far as her presence and her being a feature in that song, but I think it was meant to be an interlude.
That's
I think
damn
so. It is because of that CLB album, I want to say maybe 2-3 days before CLB was released, that's when Yeba started blowing up. At least I started noticing her.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the Dawn album and I was like, holy shit, my favorite track off Dawn is Distance. Like, Distance is just something about that song. It's just so calming and peaceful. It's my forte. But yeah, I agree with you on that, man. I think Yeba should have contributed more.
To Yeba and PJ Morton.
No.
You gotta listen.
Okay.
They did this. It's a cover of Oh my god, I gotta look it up.
Okay.
They did a cover of a song together, and it is fucking beautiful. What is that song that? That song.
Okay.
I
Is
don't
it by Yeba?
It's with PJ Morton featuring.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
That sounds familiar.
I have to
check
look
it
it
out.
up now because
I know who PJ Morton is.
Yeah, same here. I just started getting to Yeba, so like I had to hear more
she
from her.
is such.
Yeah, she's dope. I fuck with her heavy.
How Deep Is Your Love? There we go. That's what
Okay.
it is.
All right, I'll check
How
it out.
Deep Is Your Love? They did such a good cover of it.
Okay.
And Yeba's voice is so.
Yeah, it really is. I
And-
fucks with her heavy.
It was really good. She's a really good artist. And I wish Drake's CLB album, especially you know, I'm gonna say this on your fucking podcast.
Fuck it.
But
say
my
it.
friend, I have this friend that I go to the gym with, and he's called me like the Drake connoisseur because of how much I listen to Drake. And like he came up to me, he goes like, "Yo, I need some Drake songs for a fuck flip." I'm like, "Why are you asking me?
Bruh.
You're the Drake connoisseur. Don't ever fucking call me
That's
that
just-
again."
yeah, that's not-
I got so mad because I was like, "All right, I could think of."
Oh, Dad. No labels.
Right.
No labels. All right. So there was something I actually caught wind of on Facebook, I believe, and there was somebody, and I believe they were of a younger generation. They believe that Andre 3000 from Outkast is the Lil Nas X of the old head generation.
Trash.
I have to say I disagree with that, but I guess Rico, I know Rico, Chris, I know the three of us, we were talking about this earlier. As far as maybe wardrobe besides the lyrical content, besides their artistry, I still don't see that shit. I don't know. I really don't.
Like I said, man, that man had he had the whole taco meat out in 04. His chest was shooting the breeze, and that was pretty much it. I mean, if we're talking about style, not music, if we're talking about style, because they do two totally different kinds of music, clearly.
Completely.
We know that. But I think, like I showed you guys earlier, my guy had a bob on and Lil Nas X had a finger wave. There's no fucking way you cannot tell me that man was not as eccentric back in the day.
Somebody had the nerve to call Andre 3000 zesty. Come on, that nigga looking a little zesty. And I'm like, man, shut up.
That's new.
He's like, something about, yo, 3 Stacks looking a little zesty out here. I'm like, shut
That
up.
is so funny. Yo. I've never heard a nigga call another bro zesty. Bro. That is funny.
There's something wrong with
That
that
needs
nigga.
to go in the dictionary for that terminology
Zesty.
specifically.
You telling me he's Burger King sauce?
No, bro. They
Why, I'm
said,
gonna say, ain't that like chicken flavor?
Yeah, zesty.
they said this nigga is a whole fucking zest, bro. Like, come on, bro. That's fucked up.
For me personally, I think they're both kind of similar, but in two different entities. So, and I did mention this before, if Andre 3000 were to walk into a room with maybe in a similar wardrobe as Lil Nas X, I don't think it'll be broadcasted enough. Versus Lil Nas X, who kind of would be a lot more blatant and and upfront about it. That's just basically based on what I've seen, and because of the fact that I grew up on 3 Stacks and seeing how Lil Nas X moves and shit. So that's just my opinion.
I feel like it's different though, because like the generational gap is like huge between the two.
Very huge.
Because when you saw Andre 3000 wearing that, like I told you, like in Heya, the video,
Yeah.
bro was wearing, he had a full-on bob going around shaking his shit, and he had different versions of himself, in the video. So it's like, I feel like Lil Nas X, he just brings a tad bit of feminism to it, but at the same time, his style it's almost similar, because you saw him wearing fucking a long leotard and bell bottoms and performing on stage, and Andre 3000 did the same shit. The only difference was niggas were too afraid to tell him, like, nigga, that's weird. Like,
But
you know what I mean?
But I think even on top of that, I'm glad that everyone just kept their mouth, well, at least a specific community kept their mouth shut and just let him be,
because he's legendary status.
Right,
You're not gonna
because-
tell a legend like, nigga, what are you wearing?
Right, exactly. He's one half of one of the most legendary rap duos of Atlanta, Outkast. So you really can't say shit to him.
That's like telling Prince, do you get bitches?
Prince gonna look at you like,
Prince will smack the shit out of you.
he gonna side eye you in the most feminine way.
I'm telling you, bro, in the full purple outfit, that nigga
Yep.
does not give a shit.
Like,
Blouse and all, bro. Like, that nigga will smack the hell out of you and say, game. Blouses.
I was actually watching that episode the other day.
Funniest
So funny.
episode of all time.
Yeah, love Dave Chappelle.
Funniest episode of all time.
Dave Chappelle,
What do you
bro.
think of the whole Dave Chappelle trying to get canceled shit? Because it blows my mind how there's so many people that were trying to get him on, like so many trans people trying to take him down for that shit, and they clearly did not watch the fucking special.
They did not.
Like, if you were to do this about any of them, it would have been the first couple.
Yeah.
It literally would have been the first
Yeah.
couple if
Yeah.
it was that serious to you. But you're waiting until the last one where he literally addresses the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we're cool. Like, I got some stories. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
serious. oh, cancel him, take it off Netflix. Blah, blah, blah.
The
You're
only
crazy.
problem is that he's a universal comedian. Personally, to me, like he doesn't just attack one. There's comedians that attack just one group of people consistently.
Right.
He attacks everybody,
His own
including black people.
bro. His own people, yeah.
Like, you know how many jokes this man
Chappelle
says?
show. One of his episodes, he was a KKK member, a blind KKK
That was
member.
hilarious.
Like I was busting out laughing.
That is
Top tier comedy.
I was
bro.
busting
top tier comedy.
I was busting out laughing. I thought it was funny.
Comedy, bro.
I didn't get offended.
Anytime he did the
Only that
weatherman,
mofo, bro.
when he did the weatherman one where he played wife, that
Bruh,
killed me.
bruh.
I was like, bro,
Dude's hilarious.
hilarious, bro. And it's like,
what's so offensive
he's
about
such
that?
a different level of
Yeah.
like comedy. Like people should not be offended by anything this man says.
But
anything.
But that's also the point of comedy.
Now, if Kevin
right?
Hart said that, then I'd be concerned. But we're talking about Dave Chappelle here, who has a track history of doing the same thing. That's, you know, my problem with that is that we don't get people like a Martin Lawrence or Richard Pryor anymore. Because you can't say anything about anybody without anybody getting offended. Like niggas is soft these days.
Or should I say people are selective as to what they want to accept.
Right.
You know, so that's that. I was gonna say something. No, I think it's a new generation of trans community because I think it has a lot to do with generational gaps. I think maybe, and I don't know, I feel like Dave kind of made a point during that special where, you know, the older generation of the gay community, I think, would have been okay with these jokes versus like the newer generation now, where he did, and I agree with that. I think so. You know,
it's just dumb. It's dumb to be all mad about this when it's not like he's only picking on you. He made some great fucking jokes about you. I'm sorry. They were hilarious.
They were funny as hell.
They were fucking hilarious.
But isn't that the point of comedy, right?
Exactly. That's
the point
the
of comedy,
thing.
Where people can you know, poke fun at the truths or the situation or the traumas that people or the fucked up shit that people go through and laugh about it and then go back to their regular lives. That's the way I see it.
But that's the thing.
You know?
It's like people will go to a comedy show and then they get mad at the comedian. And it's like, why do you get mad at a comedian when they're a comedian? It's literally in their name.
Money for them to say this shit. Like, what are you talking?
Like, you know what Dave Chappelle is about. Anybody who has watched the Dave Chappelle show, even before Dave Chappelle show, when he did his original stand-up, dude talked about being black in an airport and being like, I'm like, bro, talk about being shoved in a suitcase and being sent off in a plane like a slave. Like, I was like, bro, this is fucking top tier comedy. Dude is and I'm telling you, to hear like somebody step outside the box, and that's why I like how the old style of comedy was, because people wanted to hear you speak your mind. Not in an offensive way, but if you're saying something because it happened to you in your life or you thought it was funny, people laugh about the shit. Now you have, like, you know, Kevin Hart's first stand-up, it was like, okay, this is funny because that was his truth. That was who he was.
Oh, one of his Laugh at My Pain?
Laugh at My Pain was top tier comedy.
Top tier. But here's my point that I'm making. Who doesn't laugh at their own traumas?
But because he got PC'd.
Right, but see, that's the thing. When you see something that you can relate to, you can laugh about it and move on. Because it's like, damn, I went through this shit, so I can laugh about it.
But see, Kevin Hart got from being relatable to just talking about how rich he was. And it was like, we don't give a shit. If you're so rich, get kneecap surgery so you can be 6 feet. That part would be hilarious. But if you're not, then I don't want to give a, you know what I mean? I don't want to hear what you got to say about being rich.
It's funny because that shit can actually happen too. And it's so funny because when I was watching White Chicks, do you remember when the girls came in? They're like, what happened? We just got our knees done. Like, oh, they do that? I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Do you remember that? You remember that?
And you know what's even worse? A movie like White Chicks will never happen again.
Probably not.
No, never happen again.
No, don't tell me.
I want to see it.
Favorite fucking
no, it will never. I want to see it. In this climate, it'll never
not.
happen again.
You know what?
I promise you.
Means we gotta make it happen. We gotta be the ones.
It won't happen. It just won't, because like people are too
and the
in their feelings these
NAACP gonna
days.
come after the Wayans brothers #1.
He said it himself. He's like, I can't do it in this climate. It's impossible.
It sucks because like we grew up on raunchy, dark humor, you know, and it was just so hilarious to me. Now
I don't get it, bro.
There isn't gonna be any more, unless you're gonna talk about like.
There's gotta be somebody who's probably gonna break that, you know, find a different avenue
Niggas
order
gonna
to
just be
create that
doing
trend.
funniest home videos type jokes because there's literally
comedy.
literally
Back to quarantine comedy.
there's
I guess.
literally gonna be no substance left in comedy, and it's sad
Yeah.
to see because there's so many good comedians
Yeah,
like Arnez J.
I love
You know,
Arnez J.
You have those like
The racial. He had one of his biggest specials, which is one of my favorites, called "Racially Motivated."
it was the
He gets on
best.
everybody,
The best.
every
his
race.
retarded cousin and all that shit.
Don't say retarded,
Because that's what he said.
bro. Oh shit,
Bro, see, we gonna say retarded.
All right.
That's,
You
we
see,
draw
you
the
see,
line
you see, you
there.
see how the PC me
Listen,
came out. I'm like, don't say
listen.
retarded. I'm like,
He said
damn,
retarded,
I
so
fell
I'm
into
just gonna
that.
say what he said.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, you know,
But that's
okay,
what it is.
mentally challenged. Okay,
Right.
we're gonna say
Or
mentally
mentally
challenged.
handicapped.
He did a whole segment.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like
Yeah.
longer than 20 minutes
Yeah.
of just talking about how just messed up this kid was, and I'm just like, bro, it's just you think to yourself like, man, that is downright offensive, but it's
It is.
fucking hilarious.
But it's hilarious.
If you can't laugh at yourself, why are you in a
Tom-
comedy show?
Tom Segura is another comedian that does like a whole bit about
Yeah.
retards too.
Mhm.
Oh
Yep.
my
And
god.
that's just funny as fuck because he's like, we never meant it that way. Like,
I had a friend of mine back in when I used to go to Seminole State. He was like, listen, don't ever laugh at their situation. Laugh at what the fuck they do.
Facts.
That's it.
Right.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
if they're out here
Exactly.
wilding out, laugh at that shit.
That's
Don't
wilding
laugh.
out,
Don't
get
laugh
out,
because of their situation. Laugh at what they're doing as the result of that situation. I'm like,
That's
you know
I'm
what?
talking about,
Fair
bro.
enough.
Exactly.
Fair
Like,
enough.
Because the thing is, people will sit there and they'll say like, oh, this is like so offensive, and I don't know how somebody can sit here and talk about somebody in this climate. Like, what do you mean climate? Like,
You can take your ass home.
nigga,
somewhere.
he literally talks about every single
Everybody.
person.
Right.
Everybody.
You're not immune
That's right.
to a Dave Chappelle joke.
Really
And the
not.
thing is too about it is like he even brings up the fact of what he's seeing of the problem of it.
Right.
Like he's
Mhm.
like, I feel like you guys are just having a problem because it's making fun of like because that's white
Mhm.
people shit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, he talks about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb to heckle a comedian about what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why he's up there saying it, and
Mhm.
there's a reason why he's making money saying it too.
Right.
Like, you gotta calm down.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
And that's the
agree
thing.
100%.
It's like, if any time somebody said a joke about somebody that was trans or somebody that was of a different gender,
Yeah.
you know, there would literally be no stature. Because then if we have to, you know, go up in arms because you're trans and he's making jokes about trans people,
Yeah.
why don't you guys do the same reaction when he talks about black people? Or when other comedians talk about black people in slavery, or they say something about Spanish people,
That's
or a
okay
black
with-
comedian says something about white people,
Yeah.
and it's offensive.
Yeah.
So it's like we
Yeah.
all laugh. We're
Yeah.
all in the same room.
Of
Like
course.
I've seen Dave Chappelle straight up just go in on white people and tell them to their face like, "Yo, you're white as hell." Like,
And they
just
laugh.
say it, and they laugh. Or
They
if
don't
he
get
says something
offended.
about a black person, he's just like, "Oh, I can't stand that black person because he
Yeah.
does nigga things." Like,
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, bro, is that shaking on?
Yeah, right. Right. They
Just
will say
some
shit like that.
wild ass shit, and like to think that we're supposed to sit back and say, "Oh, this is wrong." When he says a trans joke, like I can't believe you're saying this right now, David. Like like throughout the whole special, there was these two white
I saw
people in
them.
particular. As soon
saw
as
them.
they were laughing hard as hell when the black jokes came around.
But when he said, "Oh, it's not blood, it's bee juice," you should have seen their faces. They were like, "I'm like, wow." So that wasn't funny. Oh, you
when
don't
they
like that.
sat there
Okay.
and said something about trans people, their face just dipped. They were just like, "That's not funny." And I'm like,
Selective.
"Oh, but when they panned to them and showed them when they were talking about the black jokes, they were crying, laughing. One had
Selective.
tears coming down her face.
Selective as fuck.
And then now he's talking about trans people. Is it just
Right.
straight face?
Now it's not okay.
I'm like, bro, if you don't get the fuck up out of here, like, and people pinpointed that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh damn, like they did pan over to those people specifically throughout the whole special for a reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
but just to see is like, you know, people in their minds are selective of what they want to talk about.
Yeah.
If it's Dave Chappelle, I don't want to. Everybody sign a waiver when you come in. I don't want to hear shit about whatever you got going on. Leave that shit at the door.
That's right.
When you come in here, there's a different vibe.
That's right.
If you don't like it, stand outside.
That's right.
That's just how I see it.
That's right.
If you don't want to hear jokes about every group, every gender, even people that are not human,
Mhm.
then you can't be in.
Mhm.
You talk about- I don't want to hear somebody. Oh, but he does.
He talks about all kinds of people. Like
Everybody.
everything. He talks about
Everybody.
leaving his wife sometimes.
Right. He did a whole bit about getting caught cheating.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of that community, I heard I heard that with this new Michael Myers movie or some shit like that, they're not killing.
They killed 2 gay people in the movie, and gay people were just like, oh, not gay people. I'm sorry, the LGBTQ community. They said they specifically they pinpointed that he killed gay people in the film. But I'm like, nigga, he kills everybody.
I was deadass about to say, this mofo got stabbed and shot at the end of the... I'm gonna ruin it for everyone listening. But stabbed and shot at the end and gets back up like God himself and murders! Slashing around like a goddamn ninja, bro.
I need to see that. I need to see that.
What was that?
No, on God, bro. This man has no bounds.
I didn't see what the
He's
big
been
deal
killing niggas since 1974. He don't give a shit. He don't give a shit.
Word.
He killed the first nigga he killed. His name was Bobby. He was black. He don't give a shit about anything. He couldn't even run fast enough. He died in white person fashion. Man was running. He tripped on his fucking shoelace and just get up, Bobby! God damn it! Like, get up! Like, it's just
You
wild.
can't die in Huckleberry Town, bro! Get up! Get up!
That's what I'm saying. At that point in time, on some real shit. At that point in time, I would have seen how that would have been racially motivated. But it's just like, but it wasn't. Niggas was like, damn, Bobby. He got fucked up.
Just be like, damn, not me, not me.
Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so if a nigga could get killed in the 70s or in the 80s or even in the 90s by a dude that's 7 foot, has no race, like, but his hands are white, but has no race,
and I hate to be that guy who says I don't, this person really doesn't see color, he doesn't see sex, he just wants to
see you murdered.
He just wants to kill anybody, period.
Like, period. So that's why I'm like, since when are we selecting who could get murdered or who doesn't? He killed a kid, for God's sakes, in the fucking movie.
Also a fictional character.
Right.
Thank you.
It's a fictional fucking character.
But he murdered a kid. So at that point, it's like, if he murdered a kid, where was the cry out for that kid that got fucking murdered?
Right.
Like, stabbed to death by this grown-ass man.
They're gonna say, pedophilia.
But then, like, 2 gay people get killed, and it's just like, wait a minute,
homophobic.
were those people gay?
I can't accept.
Like, that was the first headline I saw. I was like, let me see how good the movie was. The movie was pretty good. I saw a couple people liked it. And that was the first headline. Michael Myers kills gay people in the film. I'm like, bro, that was what you gathered from the entire film?
Who's pushing this shit is my question, though. That I need to know.
It's just people in the community. Anytime something comes out about gay, I feel like we protect gay people now more than anybody's other rights, human rights. Period.
I hate to say it, but I've been saying this for the longest.
And I love gay people. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what it is where as a society we've just chosen to, I don't know, protect feelings or care about things over others.
It's one thing to like care about someone's mental well-being and how certain words affect them.
Yes.
And I get that. Black people have to deal with that shit for years. Still got to deal with this shit. But if you don't tighten up and you feel like the world is against you, nobody's against you, but you got to live a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if a black person got mad every time a white person called him the N-word, we would literally not be here. We would literally have a civil war.
We wouldn't even fucking survive.
But the people that just stop giving a shit and just coexist,
that's all.
It's just like, bro, you gotta coexist.
It
comes with the territory at the end of the day.
Of course.
Should you be offended if somebody says something offensive to you?
Sure.
Of course.
Sure.
We get offensive shit every day. But at the same time, it's how you deal with it and what your approach is gonna be. You know?
Of course. Absolutely.
But
I totally agree.
I'm definitely gonna go see Michael Myers do some shit,
sure.
bro.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next segment. What's on the playlist? Who wants to start first? You want me to start?
Sorry.
All right, that's fine. I could start then.
I only have one album.
That's fine. Oh wow. Okay. Cool. You may as well then, unless if it's lengthy.
No, it's not lengthy at all.
I mean,
So the album I've been listening to on repeat since last Friday, has been Amine's album, 2.5. No skips at all. That man went in, changed his sound, changed the tune, and it's a sound that fits him perfectly. And I think that anybody who tried to replicate that with his cadence would not be able to do it, personally. No features, just straight Amine. And whoever produced the album, whoever was the engineer for the album, they deserve a round of applause because it was so fucking good. Yeah. That to me is like,
it's a good album.
His first, like to me, that trumps his first album, personally.
Which
Even though
one?
this album 2.5 is short, Good For You, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I feel like Good For You comes in second to this album because it's just
Good for You
eons.
was like Good for You was kind of like the introduction.
But Good for You was good.
It was good.
It was good, but like
Yeah.
this album is eons ahead of what anybody's putting out, and I guarantee you, somebody in probably the next year or two will put out the same style of music he's putting out right now. If Drake doesn't steal it first,
That's how. That's how I feel about Limbo.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how you feel about Good for You. Is how I feel about Limbo.
I did not do my homework before this podcast. I did not listen to the fucking album yet.
That's all right.
No,
That's
it's
all right.
really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
and no skips at all. Like, I played that thing like what 4 or 5 times this week. Just an amazing album. I even let Ali listen to it, and she's hooked on that fucking album. She loves it, you know. But Amine is very slept on.
Yes.
I wish, and if you haven't gotten the chance to see him live, you have to see him live. He is so good. His energy is so positive.
Yeah.
Like, and it shows in his music.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed, you know, I'm glad that he's still pushing out,
Yeah.
you know, different sounds and trying to be, you know, level up his next album.
Yeah, I'm just glad, if I can piggyback off that, I'm glad Amine has grown. I've actually been one of the people who has had the privilege to actually watch him grow as an artist since back in 2014 off of his In Vogue album. And I'll never forget this. I'll be on datpiff.com like crazy, and then I just came across that pink looking mixtape of him being I guess in the middle of a tug of war between 2 women and shit like that, called En Vogue. That was this tape that kind of led him into stardom, and I've been hooked onto him ever since then. And when he dropped the Good For You album, when I first heard Caroline, I was like, oh shit, he made it. I'm so happy for him. He dropped Good For You. He dropped the Limbo album, which is amazing. Well, he dropped 1.5 before that, then Limbo, and then 2.5. Are you done? You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, you can
Okay, cool. So that's kind of what.
Also, the producers for majority of that album was Lido, Pasquet.
Very good. Those guys,
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
guys
definitely.
definitely need a fucking Grammy. That shit was awesome.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of other contributors, but those were the main ones.
But I definitely want to lead on to this next one for sure. 2.5 is also the album that I've been playing like crazy. One of my favorite tracks off there is Neo, and I've just been playing it like nonstop. It's just on repeat.
Between the Lines is good too.
Yes. Amine is heavily underrated. I greatly appreciate him as the artist that he is, and especially the fact that it seems like he takes his time out with these projects. Like, he doesn't just record bullshit and just put it out. He'll just go ahead and take his time with recording and say, okay, you know what, this will actually make the cut, this might not. And the fact that he's very authentic with his pen game and his lyrical content, I fuck with it heavy. I want to say he's kind of one of those artists that fit the same description as an artist who's like who doesn't rap about guns or shooting, whatever. I think it's real cool that we have that type of perspective. The next project I definitely want to talk about like crazy, because I'm about to get super hype. Is Live Love ASAP. This was the 10th anniversary. ASAP Rocky.
Oh, they put it back out.
It's on streaming services now. Since Halloween, and he dropped that mix. It was actually a mixtape he dropped. That was his first mixtape, his first official mixtape that blew him up. So anybody who knew, like, he dropped the music video Purple Swag, and then I think he had a part 2 or remix version of it, and it got deleted on the internet. His dumbass deleted it by accident. Yeah, Live Love ASAP was originally the mixtape that he released. Now, however, I'm a little bit disappointed because there were 2 songs that didn't make the DSPs, and that was Kiss and Pink, which is my personal favorite with ASAP Ferg in it. Well, he goes by Ferg now, and Out of This World, which was originally the last track off that mixtape. He did add in a
real quick. What album was Fashion Killer on?
Fashion Killer was on the Long Live ASAP.
That was one of my favorite songs.
Long Live ASAP is also an underrated album. That was his first studio album. But yeah, off the Live Love ASAP mixtape, he did throw in a song in there for the DSPs, and I think it's called Sandman. That was also good. You guys don't understand, like, this mixtape that he created, no skips whatsoever in my opinion, and he was heavily influenced by Houston culture, heavily influenced by 3 6 Mafia as well. So when you hear that mixtape, you hear a lot of the chopped and screwed sounds, you hear a lot of the Memphis trap sounds as well.
Yeah, because
a lot
Purple
of
Swag was very
that right there was
chopped.
Fucking genius. And we also gotta give props to that one white girl, Anna Perp, who blew up off of being in that music video. And rest in peace to ASAP Yams. My next album that I listened to, I've never given this man a chance, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do that. I was at work and I played his entire album. Amazing. Flip Dinero. Apparently
Underrated.
Joey Badass actually discovered him. I didn't even know that. He discovered him, and that's the reason why he blew up. And off the album Love for Guala, no skips whatsoever. How I Move is still one of my favorite songs featuring Lil Baby. Lil Baby also did a great contribution. But yeah, those are the 3 projects I've been playing like crazy, and I do want to add this in there real quick. Your boy is an artist as well. You know, I go by the name of Chuma Oni. I dropped my song Dance With Me a couple days ago, so make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. But that's pretty much what's been on the playlist.
We ain't trying to hear your mixtape.
Shut your ass up.
Nah, yeah, go listen
Get
to
that shit
shit.
off of you.
We came to see the Temptations.
Dead. Not the Temptation. Oh Lord. Wow, that's funny.
I'm crying, bro. That's funny.
I would say on my there's a couple projects that I've listened to that was like, you know, been on my repeat was Young Thug's new album. I
Okay.
liked it. There was a few songs out that I was really vibing with. I don't know, just some new Young Thug.
Yeah.
Enjoying it.
I heard it was very different, like the way he, you know,
Mhm.
incorporated that entire album.
Yeah, it was a lot more like laid back, if that's like a word for it. So, but it was very, very vibey. I liked it. And then Lil Tecca also put out another album.
Oh wow.
And he put it out literally in the midst of like Kanye and Drake dropping.
Damn, so nobody
I
was paying
doubt anyone even listened to that.
It was
shit.
good though.
I loved it. I actually liked it. We Love You Tecca 2 is dope.
Okay.
And I thought there was some cool bops from there that was fun.
Nice.
I truly like Lil Tecca. He's like the fact that he's from Queens too. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
That I
he's a
just
New
truly
Yorker.
enjoy his music.
Yeah.
So
I actually
and it was,
I actually respected him a lot. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
nah, you good.
I actually respected him a lot more when he was on Genius, and his lead single that
He said,
blew
I
him
ain't
up,
never
whatever.
been to
Yeah.
France.
He's like, yo, I've never done this. I don't tote
Yeah.
guns. I don't sell drugs. I'm like, well, I actually respect that.
Right.
You know,
He's just
there's a
playing
lot
the
of-
game. That's it.
Right, exactly. I just play Xbox with my boys. You know what I'm saying? Like
That shit's
either
funny.
way. So
Yeah.
his album too, I've been listening to a lot of. He had like Gunna on there, Ian Dior and shit. So there was like a nice good amount of contributors on there that I was enjoying.
That's what's up.
Those are like the main 2 projects I do.
So
Yeah.
I fucks with it. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for tuning into LTAI with June and Chris, and also I want to thank our special guest Dill for coming through. You know, he was real amazing. We definitely got to have you on here again next time. You know, so yeah, be sure to check us out on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. That's at RealLTAI_. That's RealLTAI_. And till next time, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bow.
sir. Thanks for having me.